Hi, I'm Lauren Freeman, and my species is Bacteria cockerelli, or the potato psyllid.
And I'm Kim O'Neill, and my species is the Homolodisca vitropinus, or the glassy-winged sharpshooter, and our topic was which would cause the greatest loss due to infestation.
My species, the potato psyllid, is an invasive species from Europe that has the greatest impact on the southern United States and Central America. The species, which hatches from an egg, causes the most destruction once it reaches the nymph stage and then continues into adulthood. These nymph adults attach themselves to the bottom section of leaves from the tomato and potato plants, where they drain nutrients from the phloem. This positioning not only makes them hard to spot, but the thicker leaf cover will often shield them from attempted pesticide treatments. The infestation of the plant can happen any time from the day that they're planted to the day of harvest, meaning that farmers could potentially not have time to regrow crops for that season. The effect of the insect on the plants is that of psyllid yellow toxins, also known as zebra chip, because of the stripes that form on the potato during the frying process. This condition makes the potato unsellable, and because these insects are fast breeding, if they find their way into one plant, it is very likely that most, if not all, of the surrounding plants will also have this condition. The bacterium Candidatus libibacter is also transmitted by these insects. It causes reduced growth, lessens the stiffness of the plant, purples the leaves, and in some cases causes premature plant death. There have been several outbreaks throughout the years, the first being Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Utah, and Wyoming in 1927. During this time, each of the mentioned states had a 100% potato crop loss due to these insect infestations. The loss in Utah alone totaled $750,000. The most recent outbreak happened in 1938 in the states of Colorado, Montana, Nebraska, and Wyoming, during which Nebraska alone lost 27.2 thousand tons of crops. Farmers across the globe have attempted to combat these insects, but have found it difficult due to their hardy nature and the fact that they migrate through use of air currents, making tracking their location very difficult.
The glassy-winged sharpshooter is about 12 millimeters in length, mostly brown-colored on the dorsal side, with ivory and black markings under the abdomen. Glassy-winged sharpshooters have large smoky brown wings with red markings and are very good flyers, making them able to transmit plant diseases further than other vector leafhoppers, such as the blue-green leafhopper. Females lay their eggs in masses about 10 to 12 under the lower leaf surface of young, fully developed leaves. The eggs lay side by side in a single layer. When it is first laid, each individual egg appears as a blister beneath the epidermis of the leaf. The female covers the egg mass with chalky material, making it more visible. Shortly after the eggs hatch, the leaf tissue begins to turn brown. The dead leaf tissue remains as a permanent brown scar. The glassy-winged sharpshooter, Homolodisca vitropinus, is an insect that was inadvertently introduced into Southern California in the early 1990s. This insect is native to the southeastern United States and was most likely brought into California accidentally as egg masses in ornamental or agricultural plant foliage.
As you can tell from the given information, my species can cause a lot of damage. $750,000 in damage is nothing to scoff at, and I'm pretty sure most farmers would agree that they wouldn't miss this insect if it were to suddenly disappear. These insects do classify as an infestation, which means that when they show up on crops, they show up in huge numbers. Because adults are only about 1/10 of an inch long, many of the insects can fit on one plant. One study, conducted in Idaho, determined there were at least 200,000 of the insects in one tested field of crops. On the crops that they do show up on, most will die. In the case of the outbreak of Guatemala several years ago, more than 80% of the infected crops were unmarketable and had to be disposed of, causing economic collapse within the farming community.
Mine does this not only to fruits but as trees as well. It can spread the disease-causing bacterium Xyla fastidiosa from one plant to another. Other diseases to landscape plants in California include sweet gum dieback and cherry plum leaf scorch. Although the insects do not excrete copious amounts of liquid that can make leaves and white when dry, during hot weather, however, heavy populations of glassy-winged sharpshooters feeding on small plants may cause them to wilt, as one of the main vectors of the bacterium. A plant pathogen that causes a variety of plant diseases, Pierce's disease of grape, outside of California, and these also include other strains of the disease, such as phony peach disease, plum leaf scald, leaf scorches in sycamore, elm, maple, and oak, and variated citrus chlorosis. But these diseases have not been detected in California. These have been found in the southeastern region of the United States. Pierce's grape disease is what is in Southern California and is hurting grapes.
Well, my insect is very hard to kill. They hide on the underside of leaves where the pesticides either do not reach the insects at all, or by the time it has reached the insects, the damage has already been done. Not only do they thrive when they reach the plants themselves, but the weather conditions of the places that they inhabit only further their growth. The insects are very weather resistant and thrive in heated and or cooled conditions, making it easy for them to spread from field to field, even when the conditions between the places are quite different. These insects are also very genetically diverse. This means that any pesticide that is made especially for these insects may not work at all on the intended target due to DNA differences between group members.
The cure for the disease transmitted has not been found, making the insect hard to kill. Once infected, the plants are able to infect other plants without the insect being there. This can cause damage to spread and it's hard to contain the insect. If not cured, industries like the grape industry can be affected in other ways the plants can die. Unlike the potato psyllid, my species creates more damage and is harder to kill off. The current strategy for containing this problem is to keep the insect out of new areas. This requires careful monitoring and detection. If the glassy-winged sharpshooter is found in an area not currently known to the pest, you need to be able to call somebody to stop it.
As you can tell from the information that I have provided, the potato psyllid is a very serious threat to farmers and consumers alike. The tons of damage and the hundreds of thousands of dollars lost to this pest should show why scientists are taking steps to understand them. Scientists are working on a one-for-all pesticide that would deter the insects from the sprayed crops, but unfortunately have only had minor success in deterring some, but not all of the insects. The scientists, however, have been using the insects to study how different toxins spread through plants, and have made viable steps in understanding the process to a higher degree. Continuing to study these insects is important so that we can effectively protect future crops from these conditions and prevent such unbearable losses for both farmers and markets alike.
From the information I gave, the glassy-winged sharpshooter is a threat to many plant species, and there is no cure for the diseases they transmit, making mine a bigger threat to not only the environment but consumers of the specific industries affected.